Hello viewers, welcome to eclipseClick video series. In this set of videos, I'd like to demonstrate how easy it is to set up your eclipseClick software, get your equipment connected, and get started with your Eclipse photography. So let's jump straight into the software. What I see on my screen is eclipseClick version for Windows. You can also install it for Mac. I'd like to first show the settings screen. On the settings screen, I have activated the base license as well as multi-camera control license. Base license allows me unlock features across the entire application. The multi-camera control license allows me to simultaneously connect two cameras for Eclipse control. Perhaps the most important and useful setting is the log files. The log files are stored in this location, and you can open logs by clicking on the Open Logs button. Moving on. Let's go to the dashboard. The dashboard is a central place that lets you see all of your settings related to camera, serial shutter, GPS, the Eclipse itself, location, and the script. I'm gonna go ahead and select the Eclipse. When I click on the Eclipse section, it takes me to the Eclipse tab where I can pick location. Now I can select an Eclipse. Now when I select an Eclipse, you can see a map of the path that the eclipse takes. So for example, when I picked the total solar eclipse for August 12th, 2026, I get this rendering, and you can zoom out, zoom in, and it lets you see the path in more detail. You can also scroll. Now, the red line is the center line of the totality, whereas the dotted lines on each sides of the red line show the path the totality is going to take. And you can also see a nice video of the path. It's an animation of the path that totality takes. It shows the umbral as well as the penumbral region. Next, I'm going to go ahead and go back to dashboard. Now it shows the selected eclipse. Next, I'm going to go to equipment tab. I'm going to first click refresh. Now, before diving deeper into the equipment connection, I'd like to talk a little bit about my setup. Now, I have two cameras with me. One is a Canon 5D Mark II. The other is a Nikon D7200. And I can connect to both cameras with my software. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate. Now, in addition to the two cameras, I also have serial cable shutters, also connected via USB. I recommend using the DSUSB serial cable shutters provided by Shoestring Astronomy. Now, all of these are connected through USB, and I'm using a powered USB hub. Now, I highly recommend using a powered USB hub to ensure that your setup and all your USB devices get the maximum power possible. Next, I'm gonna also show GPS connection. Okay, so I'm gonna start with connecting DSUSBs. So connected DSUSB 2, connected DSUSB. Next, I'm gonna select a camera. So let's start with Canon. Click refresh. I see the Canon 5D Mark II detected. I'm going to click connect. There you go. Now I know that my physical connection for Canon 5D Mark II, I'm using DSUSB shutter, so I'm going to select that for Canon. Now when you connect your camera, you see a camera readiness checklist. Now this is sort of a checklist that ensures that your camera is in a ready state for Eclipse photography. Now a couple of these settings can be controlled and set by the SDK, and in this case the drive mode being set to continuous and the exposure mode being set to manual is done by the SDK itself. Now, there are some models that do not support SDK setting, and so you're going to have to set them manually. If they are being set successfully by the SDK, you'll see a green checkbox here. If you do not see a green checkbox, it means you're going to have to go to your camera and set it successfully, set it by yourself. Now, the third item, which cannot be done through the SDK, is setting your lens to manual focus mode. Now, this is extremely important. You don't want autofocus enabled. So I'm going to go set my camera lenses focus mode to manual focus, and I'm going to check this box. Now my camera is ready. All right, next I'm going to perform a burst rate test via the SDK mode, which is the USB mode, and via the DSUSB mode, which is the serial shutter mode. All right, so there you go. Oh, there you go. I think I'm gonna first set the shutter speed to 1/8000. Then I'm gonna perform the test. There you go. I don't know if you can hear the click sounds, but the SDK went ahead and performed a burst test, and I'm getting a 1.3 FPS via the SDK. Now I'm going to perform the same test with DSUSB, and you will see why I recommend using DSUSB. That went much faster, and I'm getting a much faster frame rate with a serial cable shutter. Okay, now I'm going to repeat the same for my Nikon setup. So I'm going to go to Nikon. I'm going to click refresh. It takes a little bit of time, but it does get detected. I'm going to connect. I know I've connected DSUSB to serial cable shutter, so that's what I'm going to pick. And again, I'm going to confirm that the lens is in manual mode, and I'm going to click yes. I've set it. Now next, again, I'm going to make sure that this shutter is set to a high enough value. I'm going to perform the test. So again, with the SDK, I'm getting a 2.1 FPS, and DSUSB, I'm getting a much faster FPS. Finally, I'm gonna connect my GPS receiver. There you go, and now it's got a GPS fix. The last setting I'd like to talk about is the solar filter. So for partial phases, you're going to have to use a solar filter, and for most part, I think you can use one of these two depending upon what brand you have, and you can find more information about this in the help settings or in this little help tile over here. So if you're using something like a beta solar filter, you might want to select 3.8 ND. For most others, Thousand Oaks, Seymour, Mylar, etc., you should be fine with selecting 5.0 ND. That's all for now. In the next video, I'm gonna proceed with Eclipse, location, and the script wizard. Thank you for watching.